Hi, my name is Donna, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a pair of wire-wrapped leather earrings. The first thing we're going to do is wrap this teardrop with 24 gauge wire. So we need about 12 inches of that. To start, you just put the wire through the hole in the teardrop. Push both ends up so that they cross over each other at the top of the teardrop. I'm going to bend the longer wire upwards, and the shorter wire, I'm going to wrap that around the longer wire a couple of times. Okay, this one started to overlap. I don't want the wraps to overlap each other. You want them to lay flat. Okay, that fixed it. You just wrap it 2 or 3 times will be sufficient. And you need to take the wire cutters and clip that as close as possible to the longer wire. Then go ahead and take your needle nose pliers and just press that down. Now what you need to do is take that longer wire and bend it forward. Now I want more than one loop at the top, so I'm going to take my small bail making pliers, and on the smaller side of it, first I'm going to wrap around one full turn. Then you let it go to one side of that, let it wrap again, and then you bring it over to the other side of the first loop, and then wrap that around one more time. Now those wires are separating. I want them to stay together. So I'm just going to take flat nose pliers, or you can use needle nose pliers, and just kind of push them together. And from there, just start wrapping around that first section that you had wrapped earlier. And keep it neat if you can, and keep wrapping down over it. Now that I have a few wraps on there, I need to take it off of the pliers. Sometimes it doesn't want to come off of there. Got it. Now, just going to keep wrapping that around. Try to keep it straight because it does want to slide around sometimes. I'm going to wrap all the way down past the holes. Once you get up to the holes, just start working the wire back upwards. And then you can wrap it around up at the top a few times. Clip it close to the first couple layers of wraps. And press that down. Now if the loop isn't centered correctly, just kind of pull it over a little bit. And you also want to twist it if you need to make sure it's going front to back. I'm sorry, to make sure that the opening is going side to side, I meant. And there's the first part of the earring. Next, we're going to wrap the leather part of the earring. For this, we'll need 8 inches of 22 gauge wire and a 4-inch piece of round leather lace and the briolette that we wrapped in the previous step. What we're going to do, about, 2/3 to 3/4 of an inch away from the end of the wire, create a small loop and go ahead and wrap that. Okay, and as you wrap, make sure you bend the longer wire so that it's perpendicular to the loop. And just wrap that around about 2 or 3 times. Cut the short end off as close as you can to the longer end. And then press that down. Now if you've I already made the first part to the pair of earrings. When you do the second one, you want to make sure you have from the top of the loop down to the bottom of the wrap even on both of them. So that's where I'm going to bend this wire. Just bend it at a 90-degree angle. Then what you need to do, you hold it so that you're holding it kind of right at the end of the wire, right where it bends. Okay, you want the round nose pliers lined up with the shorter part of the wire. And just, let me grip that again. Just curl it over the longer piece, curl that over the round nose pliers. You just want a little loop like that. Well, not exactly a loop, but just kind of a little spot for the leather to sit into. Now you take your briolette and put that onto the leather and match up the ends. Then you go ahead and sit that into that little bend right there. It should be a tight fit. You need to keep it tight or it won't stay on there correctly. The tops of the leather should be about even with the top wrap right underneath the loop right there. Now this is the hard part, holding onto it and keeping this wrap even and keeping it tight as well. Just keep wrapping and holding it as tight as you can. Once you get a few wraps on there, it gets a lot easier. Okay, once you get to about this point where there's maybe a little over 1/8 of an inch left of the leather at the top, take your wire cutters, I find that's easier than using scissors, and clip it at an angle. You have to clip both of them. And what that does is it allows the wire wrapping to taper without looking sloppy. And just keep wrapping all the way up. And once you get all the way up to the loop, go ahead and cut that wire. And then press it down with your needle nose pliers. Now what you need to do is just make sure everything is lined up properly and not crooked. And that's the second part of the earring. At this point, all that's left is to put the ear wires on. So you open them up the same way you open up a jump ring. You hold it by the side and twist it a little bit. Then just put it on and close it back up. We'll do the same for the other one. And there you go, wire wrapped leather earrings.